Good morning, Eagles, or it could be afternoon for you guys. But I am here. We are now going to do the guided practice for 11.2, and this is all having to deal with quadrilaterals, which are four-sided shapes. So please, if you need to, pause me here and open up your textbook and turn to page 276. Now, by now, you should have already watched the math movie that kind of told you all the different characteristics of quadrilaterals. Remember, quad means four, so any four-sided shape. However, there are a lot of special names that you will need to know, and there's a lot of vocabulary in this topic. So I have actually assigned for you to open up the vocabulary cards, which has names and pictures to kind of help you remember all of these special terms. When we look at the very top of our book, and I know the video went over this, but I wanted to kind of just reinforce it because there is a lot of vocabulary. There are many different names for the same four-sided shape. They are called quadrilaterals, but all of them have different characteristics that make them special. For instance, a trapezoid has only one pair, and a pair is two, so it has one pair of parallel sides. For instance, if you look right here, the top and the bottom line are parallel. That means they are the same distance and they will never ever touch. However, these two sides will touch if the lines were to keep going. So a trapezoid has to have one pair of parallel sides. Now a parallelogram, on the other hand, has two pairs of parallel sides. So the top and bottom and the left and right. And I also call those the opposite sides because top is opposite of bottom, left is opposite of right. Now when we come over here to the rectangles, a rhombus, and a square, these ones can be a little bit confusing because even though these are all three quadrilaterals, they are also parallelograms because opposite sides are parallel. They will never ever touch. However, they have special characteristics that make them even more important. For instance, a rectangle has four right angles. A right angle is a perfectly square 90-degree. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the opposite sides are parallel. A rhombus, all sides are the same length, but if you notice, a rhombus does not have square corners. It does not have right angles or 90-degree angle corners. They are almost a little bit slanted, I like to say. However, the opposite sides are still parallel and all of these sides are the same length. Now, a square is a very, very special quadrilateral. I call this a VIP, very important polygon, because it has four right angles, opposite sides are parallel, and all the sides are the same length. So a square can also be a rectangle or a rhombus, a parallelogram, a square, and a quadrilateral. Lots of special names for the square, and that's why the square is a VIP. All right, now we're going to start doing the guided practice. Now remember, if you don't have a math notebook, that's okay, but I just kind of put the lesson and the date, and then I put number 1. So just like in class, I'm now just going to answer the questions. So for numbers 1 through 4, write as many special names as possible for each quadrilateral. Now, this is why it's kind of important to have your book open because all of the vocabulary is right there, and then I know how to spell those words. So the first one, okay, when I look at that, it looks like a parallelogram. Parallelogram. Now I'm going to make sure it doesn't have any other special names. Can it be a rectangle? It does not have right angles. Can it be a rhombus? No, because the sides are a different length in the top and bottom. And can it be a square? No, because it doesn't have all sides the same length. Okay, number 2. And I'm not going to write down quadrilateral every time because all of these are quadrilaterals. Okay, number 2, when I look at that one, I'm going to go through the list. Is it a parallelogram? Oh, it is because it has two pairs of parallel sides. Is it a rectangle? Oh, it does have four right angles, so it is a rectangle. Okay, now is it a rhombus? Does it have sides that are all the same length? No, and that also means that it cannot be a square. Okay, number 3. Now, when I look at this one, that's not a rectangle. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot to check. Is this a parallelogram? The sides, opposite sides are parallel. Parallelogram. It can't be a rectangle because there are no right angles. Now remember, a right angle is a perfectly square corner, like a piece of paper or most of the walls in your house. I think it is a rhombus also because all of the sides are the same length, but it cannot be a square because it does not have right angles. All right, number 4. Let's see, now that one is kind of special. It only has one pair of parallel sides, so that must be a trapezoid. But I'm going to make sure it doesn't qualify as anything else. It can't be a parallelogram because these two sides are not parallel. There are no right angles, so it can't be a rectangle or a square. And the sides are different lengths, so it cannot be a rhombus. So this is what put it right in front of you, this is what my notebook looks like. Okay, now we're going to move on to number 5. This looks like kind of a fun question. This is more of where I have to really think. Do I understand? This figure is a rectangle, but it is not a square. Why? I'm going to look at that and think for just a few seconds while you're thinking, why is that not a square? Now I'm going to write a complete sentence. It is not a square because. Please make sure that you have a complete sentence. And it's not a square because not all of its sides are the same length. Yeah, it has to have all equal sides in order to be a square. All right, number 6. Now I know we don't have templates, so we just have to try our very, very best. And it says reason. Draw 2 different quadrilaterals that are not a rectangle, a square, or a rhombus. Okay, so I'm going to look up at the top again up here at my vocabulary, and it's not a rectangle, not a square, and not a rhombus. So, oh, I bet you I can draw a trapezoid, but I'm going to kind of have some fun with this, and I'm going to draw a sideways trapezoid. And once again, I'm just going to do my best because I don't have a ruler right now either. I probably should have brought some supplies home from school, but I didn't know I'd be doing so much. And I'm going to draw a parallelogram. And I do like to use the lines of my notebook because that kind of helps me get some of the lines as straight as I can. So here I have my trapezoid and my parallelogram. All right, number 7. It says, why is a square a parallelogram? A square is we're going to get really good at spelling parallelogram. It's kind of a fun word. A square is a parallelogram because, I'm going to let you think for just a second before I write down my answer. I'm going to look up at the top at this square right here. And it is a parallelogram because it has 2 pairs of parallel sides. 2 pairs of parallel sides. So like I said, there's a lot of vocabulary in topic 11, so I have assigned for you guys to open those up. If you have printer access, feel free to print those out, but please don't feel like you have to. Another fun way would be for you to make your own flashcards, and then you can test your parents to see if they know all the different names for shapes. Now, just like in class, if you have time or you're capable, then maybe you could move on to do a few more of these independent because there's only 5 questions, and maybe even do these problem solving. However, I do not need to see that you have done that, okay? I just trust that you are working your very best to make yourself smarter. I have assigned for you to do the quick check and for you to do the practice page, which once again, you don't have to turn in the practice page, but the quick check, it's a digital quick check, just 5 quick questions and submit it when you're done. I hope you guys understand. Please, please, please send me a message if you need a little bit more help classifying quadrilaterals. Remember, quad means 4, so 4-sided shapes. Have a fabulous day, and I will hopefully see you guys soon. Bye.